I had a pretty like risky kind of like gambly life for a long time. So
Really?
I've gotten my thrills out for the most part. So I'm
How
kind
was
of
your
like,
life risky in gambling?
I used to just sell drugs. So I was like, people
Oh.
would go to the casino, and I was like, dude, I do this every day. Like I could be devastated every day.
What kind of drugs were you selling? Everything?
Just weed, yeah, mostly weed, and then like I tried to sell coke. I wasn't cut out for that.
How was it? I mean, I sold a couple of bags, so
Yeah.
I realized, and I bought a million of them back
Yeah,
in the
true, yeah,
day.
true.
So I went over to people's houses and watched them play video games, and
That's all it is.
sat there and yeah,
You play Xbox for like an hour, and then you just make $1,000. And you're like, yes.
yeah.
But
But
it was like
how was the
risky.
coke stuff?
Terrible. I didn't do it. That was the thing. So I
Oh.
didn't do it. I didn't like what it like did to people. I was like 19, so I didn't really know. But that was like when I was like that was like genuinely scary because like weed is like people are mostly cool,
Yeah,
except to a certain point. If you get up high enough, when the money gets high enough, it'll be like you deal with like real actual crime. Like you were talking about home invasions. It's like, dude, there's guys that'll do that, and it's like it's so fucking scary, and they're so scary too.
so you got into that level?
I've got I was in a house that got invaded. I was never a home invasion kind of guy, but yeah, I got up to like I would get like 35 pounds. Like that was
You'd buy 35?
yeah, I would get them from it, but I would commanded 35 pounds.
That's a lot, bro.
I know, scary. That's what I was saying. I got my like.
But
Just,
how would that 35 get to you?
it would get dropped off at somebody else's house, and then we have like a storage unit, and we would just like go down. You get to like pick between the strains. Like I want 4 Blue Dreams, 6 sour diesels.
So
and we
was
were, like,
was that amount split amongst a couple other people?
and it was me and one other guy.
You and one other guy.
So we would get like 70 dropped off, and we get to split them.
And what was your selling like? Like, how much were you selling at a time? You know what I mean? Were you
Yeah, it
dispersing
was
it down?
mostly like 2. My big people were like 2 to 3. Sometimes people would take 5 pounds. That was like my most. I would give people like 5 at a time.
So they were dealers too. Like,
Yeah.
look, okay.
I would find people and then be like, I think and you kind of like slowly front them and get them a little bit more. Then you eventually are like, I'll give you like 2 pounds. Like, oh, it's like, you'll be fine.
yeah.
And then you just then you just start dropping it off and like collect your money.
So that's real money though, right?
Yeah, I was chilling for a while in my early 20s. I was having a good time. But then like you get robbed. Everyone, you're like, if you think of it like your employees, it's like the most unreliable.
Yeah.
People are getting DUIs. It's like people couldn't just chill. They'd be like, I got hammered and I started running around selling. It's like, why did you do that?
Why?
Then they get in trouble. People get addicted to drugs. It's like, it's a really,
Was there a one incident thing that got you out of it, or was it just a gradual thing?
not really. I got like robbed at gunpoint a bunch of times and I was just like, well, I should say I got robbed at gunpoint twice, but I guess that's not a bunch of times.
From somebody you knew probably, or like it was a setup thing?
It was like someone I knew would set up with somebody who would then be like, my friend's gonna come, and then someone that person knew would just be like, I'm gonna set this up like a robbery because everyone got bad on pills. So you get people who get bad on like pills who then would be buying like heroin, now they're introducing like heroin guys to being like, hey, I owe you money, but I know this one guy who could like, who's like, I can help you rob him. And they'd be like, yeah, let me do that.
And when you got robbed, was it for the weed or for the cash?
For the both.
For both.
Yeah, they got me for both. They got me for both. Yeah, the postal, also like we would mail it a lot. So like we had the postal police take like, I mailed like 35 grand and they just were like, yeah, that's ours.
Fuck.
And I was like, fuck.
Those are huge losses though, right?
I know. I've been wiped out financially. Like, again, if I had like, I'm like 25, 26 with like 40 grand, I'm like, this is crazy. And just go to zero. I've done it like 2 or 3 times.
Damn.
Yeah.
And were you mailing cash because you owed it to?
Well, you would mail it to, if like you could buy it once it got here, but as soon as a pound of weed comes from California, it's the driver itself. That's like 400 per pound they're tacking on, and then it's going to go to a person who's going to tack probably 3 to 4 or whatever on each one. But if you can get it directly from California, you can skip all that. But they got to mail it to you, so you open yourself up to the risk of catching a package in the mail.
Yeah.
And then you got to like, hopefully it's not being followed or whatever. So.
But you were mailing cash out to Cali?
Yeah, through my friend. I would like give it to my friend. He would mail it to California.
So you have zero after this.
I was wiped out. I've done it like, oddly, it becomes kind of a peaceful feeling though, to get totally wiped out. After like the 3rd time, I like perversely kind of liked it.
You're like, oh, here we go.
So I would just go back to painting houses and be like, damn it, right back to the salt mine. I would just paint houses and kind of like do stand up and work my way back up.
Jesus,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, but eventually it just became ridiculous. I was like, I'd have to stop. It wasn't really the kids were the big thing.
Yeah.
Once I had kids, I was like, I can't. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm not. If I go to jail, that'd be so sad.
Yeah, I remember a couple of friends that were selling, and it was funny because when you're in high school and getting into college, you're talking about like an ounce here and the I remember how it makes sense, but you get more brazen with like the longer you're around and more comfortable. And then one time I'm with my friend, he pulls up and he's got just like QPs like on the seat, and I'm like, you're just driving around like this?
It becomes so normal, you forget. The first like month, I remember like I think I've fried my nervous system, but the first couple months, your like legs are shaking. Anytime a cop's around you, you have like an ounce of weed, you're like, oh, I'm fucked. And then you get like, you just forget it's even illegal. I would just drive around like it was like a normal job. And like,
you're like,
but then a cop does pull up behind you, you're like, it's just like ice water. Your veins just sort of like, ugh.
Yeah.
And that's really bad for you. And also it's like, it's one of those things, it's like, it's genuinely, when people say it's bad, I was always like, it's weed, like who cares? But when you're doing that, you're essentially, you have to lie to everybody you talk to,
which is not good.
It's not good, and it like literally become like a liar. Like you have to lie. It's nonstop kind of games and manipulation, and it's like your relationships excuse them, because then you're like, I don't really want to tell this person I'm with exactly what I'm doing, and it's like, because if it goes south, they can kind of fuck me.
Who knew? Did your closest friends know?
People knew kind of, but I always would kind of like, I wouldn't really ever tell people the scale for the most part, except for a couple people.
The scale is alarming.
The scale was kind of alarming.
Yeah, when you said 35, I was like, what the fuck, bro? Yeah.
Yeah, and it would just be in like a storage unit, and then or I'd bring it to my house, and then it's like every time you leave your house, you're just like, somebody's definitely going and taking that from me. So like it's just constant anxiety.
Yeah,
it's not worth it. It's like, just go get a job. It's like boredom. It's either you're bored or you're gonna be like hair-raisingly anxious, and it's like being bored's better. You can always just like join CrossFit and do jiu-jitsu or something.
Yeah, work it out another way.
Yeah, just gamble or you don't have to risk your freedom, but
fuck, man. Yeah.
It was cool. I kind of did that from like 18 to embarrassingly not that long ago.
And now you're a successful comedian.
Yeah, thank God, man.
So
otherwise I would have been in jail. But
now you can walk around and go, man, can you believe I got this clean money?
Yeah, yeah, true. Thank God I got robbed so much that for real, I could just show the IRS like, bro, I'm telling you, man, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Got robbed. Take it up with that other guy. But it is crazy because then people rob you, and then you learn later, like, karma really is, like, it gets people. Like, I would just learn about people who rob me, and, like, bad stuff happens to people.
Feels like you're lucky that you learn these lessons without having to suffer the worst consequences.
For sure.
Right?
Jail.
Yeah.
You feel kind of bad, though, not going. Usually there's the big redemptive arc where you're like, and then I got arrested. And it's like, when you're like, nah, I just kind of worked out. People
now
are
I
like,
sell
fuck
tickets
you.
on the road.
Yeah. People don't like hearing that. But
I know.
It's the truth.
It's good that you didn't have to go through that to figure it out.
I know. Although I do have that perverse side of me again that like I have the jail fantasy, or like how would I have done in jail?
How do you think you would have done?
I think all right. I don't know. Again, it's one of those easy things to say.
Isn't it crazy now? I don't know how many guys you know that have been to jail. How I know a handful that are like, yeah, man, it's actually pretty cool. And you're like, what?
Dude.
And they're like, they tell you like good stories, and they're like, no, I got a good friend. Some wild shit, but we had fun.
Yeah.
You're like, okay.
It's got to be kind of fun, but I do think it is pretty depressing.
Yeah.
My friend was there a bunch of times, and he was like, yeah, there's parts of it that were fun, but he's like, mostly it was horrible, and I'm never going back there.
I don't think anyone wants to go back.
The
really.
food, man, that's like that's the one thing. Like I'm such a dude, I can't eat.
I
like,
wonder how
stuff.
it would affect your pre-diabetic.
It'd be tough.
Stuff,
I'd have to probably go for like maybe I don't know, Jewish diet or Muslim diet. They're like the coveted diets you can get there.
Really?
So I have to convert. Yeah, I have to convert to probably.
You have to convert first.
I think so. You got to pass a test if you want the diet in jail. You have to like exhibit knowledge of the diet. You have to it's like a citizenship test.
Wow.
Yeah.
So some studying.
You have to go in there and be like, did the Jews do 9/11? You have to be like, no, not at all. I'm like, all right, here's your fucking
food.
Here's your shawarma, dude. No, we did not. We did not do that.
And then
here's your shawarma.
You're getting the diet that you want, and they're like, hey, how come you're not doing daily prayer, man? It's 5 times a day here, pal.
You're allowed to switch it every every years, I think. It's a big deal. Like if you can kind of get that special diet.
Like, well, if it isn't the old Christian Muslim Jew.
But yeah, I'm very happy. It sounds really miserable, man. It's like, yeah.
You seem well adjusted, man.
Yeah, well, I did a lot of reading. I did have time to read, so I kind of got to read a lot, and I got to really kind of reflect. And I also was never, I was never violent. That was my big thing. I wasn't really violent. I had one time that I really spazzed, but for the most part, I would just kind of live and let live. If people
did you carry a gun?
No, briefly. I had a gun in my house, but the gun scared me. I'd look at it and be like, I'd be all high looking at a gun. I'd be like, oh, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
But so no, I no, and that thing too, if you got caught with drugs and a gun, it was automatic jail.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, I'd rather just lose the money than have a gun. And like, I'm not going to fucking shoot somebody.
Yeah.
I'm no hero. I'm not like, not like that guy.
Like me?
Bert and Tom, Tom and Bert. One goes topless while the other wears a shirt. Tom tells stories and Bert's the machine. There's not a chance in hell that they'll keep it clean. Here's what we call two bears, one cave.